another dimension with voyeuristic intention. Well secluded, I see all.
With a bit of a mind flip.
You're into the time slip.
And nothing can ever be the same.
You're faced out on sensation, like you're under sedation. Let's do the time warp again. Let's do the time warp again.
When I was walking down the street, just to have what I seen. When I was thinking the guy gave me a kick on wing. He shook me up, he took me by surprise. He had a pickaxe track and that devil's eyes. He stared at me and I felt a pain. I'm in nothing if I want to again.
Let's do the time warp again. Let's do the time warp again.
It's just a jump to the left. With your hands on your hips. It's just a jump to the left. With your hands on your hips.
What does that wispy little brat have that you don't have, Double?
She can't hold a candle to the beauty of your smile.
How about a pulse?
Overrated by a mile.
Overvalued.
Overblown. If he only knew the you that we know.
And that silly little creature isn't wearing his ring.
And she doesn't play piano
Or
or
dance.
dance or sing. No, she doesn't compare.
But she still breathes air.
Who cares? Unimportant.
Overrated.
Overblown. If only he could see how special you can be. If he only knew the you that we know.
If I touch a burning candle, I can feel no pain. If you cut me with a knife, it's still the same. And I know her heart is beating, and I know that I am dead. Yet the pain here that I feel, try and tell me it's more real. And it seems that I still have a tear to shed.
The sole redeeming feature from that little creature is that she's alive.
Overrated.
Overblown.
Hello, and welcome to the Full Send Half Mast podcast on a Halloween Tuesday night. We are here live to talk about some racing tonight. Here with Tom. Tom is back. He's gone for the last couple weeks. He is back. We're ready to talk some racing tonight. Heck yeah, we had some good racing this weekend. Martinsville for the cutoff race for NASCAR Xfinity and Cup Series. We figured out who the championship four are there, as well as the Mexico City Grand Prix. We're going to review those races. Got a little bit of news to talk about here first this evening, and then we'll go over our infamous driver of the week, bonehead of the week, segments, infamous ones. And then we'll go over the points in Formula One and as well as the World Endurance Championship to lead up to this weekend's World Endurance Championship finale, the championship battle between two teams actually from the same camp, Toyota. So we'll preview that. We'll go over all the notable entries for this weekend's races at Phoenix, the World Endurance Championship at Bahrain, as well as the Sao Paulo Grand Prix for Formula One. Then we'll give you our NASCAR fantasy, our radioactive of the week, and we have a few other things we'd like to talk about as well before we're out of here this evening. So, before we get into the news, though, let's get a quick word from our sponsor. W Energy Blends, introducing Neurofactor, an all-natural coffee cherry extract to help fuel you with energy, laser focus, and fast reflexes. Provides concentration with important aminos and vitamins without the crash that ordinary canned energy drinks just cannot provide. Try amazing flavors such as Dragonade, Dub Sludge, Galaxy Grenade, and my personal favorite, Beach and Peach. Buy the starter pack today, including 2 flavors and a shake cup, for an extremely low price. Follow the link in the description below and use promo code DAGABOYS for 10% off of your order. Thanks to Dubby for their continued sponsorship of the DAGABOYS broadcasting channel. Alrighty. Let's get right into the news. We know it's the end of October, setting up for a lot of these championship weekends, so I just want to give a shout out to Ronnie Silk. He ends up winning the Whelen Modified Series Championship there at Martinsville this weekend. Ryan Preece actually won the race, but Ronnie Silk put together a full season worth of good performances, and he ends up taking the championship there. Also, and when it comes to IMSA, JDC Miller, they are one of the customer purchase Porsche teams in the GTP class at IMSA. They've announced that they are adding Phil Hansen to their 2024 endurance event races, which are the 6 hours of the Glen, the 8 hours of the Battle of the Bricks, the 12 hours Sebring, and the 24 hours of Daytona. So that's exciting for them to add another driver. We know we've seen them make strides this season. They've gotten better, so we'll see what next year has in store for them. And then also, in the RCR stuff, we got a lot to talk about RCR. Don't worry. We'll get you covered there. But to start off with the whole RCR news, Jesse Love did get announced earlier this week that he is going to be running in that 2 car for RCR in 2024 in the Xfinity Series, replacing Sheldon Creed. And I had Sheldon Creed, Gibbs, but I think that got spoiled this week, and we'll talk more about that here in a minute. There's a lot to unpack there with this whole RCR Creed shenanigans this weekend. And then also another maybe rumor, because we heard Almirola announce retirement from the Cup Series for like the 3rd or 5th or 18th time in the last 2 years. I don't remember, but it's been a while. But he's finally done. And maybe Noah Gragson to SHR. I know you've been kind of leading off with that one, Tom. Do you think that's a real possibility?
I mean, I don't know. Like, what sponsors does he bring to the table? Because I really feel like SHR doesn't really have the means for like 4 cars right now. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I feel like it'd be career suicide. I wouldn't go to SHR right now. Not a chance in hell. No way.
No.
So I don't know. We'll see. I'm hoping that we see Noah Gragson back in the Cup Series, but I don't know why you'd go to the Cup Series if you don't plan on going to a winning team.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like you're just spinning your wheels at that point.
I think the move that he probably should have made is just to go to a really successful Xfinity team.
Yeah.
Try to work his way back up.
Yeah, or even trucks and go try to win a championship. That's something he never did in the truck series.
Yeah, that's right.
Or the Xfinity level. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens with the whole Gragson thing with the 10 car next year. We'll see. We could see a 3-car SHR team next year. Could be a possibility. We'll just have to wait and see. And then also, Jason Ratcliffe retiring after Phoenix. Longtime crew chief in the JGR stable. I don't know. That's kind of interesting. What do you think he does next since he's retiring?
He probably is going to go out and fish a lot.
I love it. I love it.
I mean, that's what I would do, right? That dude's probably banking on millions right now.
Oh, yeah.
I would say screw it. I'd go out to like Montana or something and go live off the grid.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. That'd be interesting. I would too. I mean, honestly, the accomplishments and accolades this guy has had under his career. I mean, why not? Deserves it. I couldn't see Gibbs want to let go of him though from any type of role there, even if he's like has a remote job. You know, I don't know. We'll see. And then also, this was kind of the last domino to fall here for the Indie NXT guys last year. We knew that Siegel was going to return to NXT, but we didn't know what was going to happen with Rasmussen. He was your champion in Indie NXT. Well, he's going to be going to ECR in 2024. I believe he's going to be in the car that Cooter Daly was running this year to start the season. So
Old Cooter.
So we'll see. Yeah. We'll see. I mean, I don't feel like that team is as equipped to win races as any of the other teams, but I feel like that's kind of his only opportunity, right?
Well, look, VK, while at the right time in the right car, can do really good in an ACR car. I think Rasmussen could do the same. Yeah, they're not the strongest team. I mean, they're better than Foyt. Like, let's be honest there. But you know, we've seen VK do a lot of good stuff in an ECR car, and I think that, you know, with the right guidance and right information given to Rasmussen, he could probably do okay in an ECR car. Definitely better than old Cooter, for sure.
Yeah, who knows where Cooter's gonna be next year? I feel like he's still out here with
He'll be piggybacking off of MBM in the Xfinity series.
Yeah. He's like one of those guys at the soup line with one of those like empty soup cans, and he's like asking for pennies. Oh man! And then Pietro Fittipaldi will be also running an IndyCar next year for RLL in the 30 car, which was what Jack Harvey was in this year. So, what are your thoughts on that? I don't have any expectations. I mean, that's kind of where I'm sitting at. I
feel like he could have done so much better. Why didn't RLL go after Rasmussen?
They might have. Maybe they never came to an agreement. Maybe Rasmussen.
Maybe, but
I don't know.
I mean, or Siegel. Why didn't you get Siegel?
You know, I think he's on a 2-year contract and then an Indie NXT. I don't think they would have been able to buy out his contract. That was my first thought too, and I was like, why not Siegel? But I think there's some red tape there, so we'll see. I mean, going into next year, the Indie NXT, I mean, you've got to be looking at Siegel to be your championship favorite. I mean, who's going to beat him? I mean, all the top guys that we saw last year are now in IndyCar.
Hello. I would say Louis Foster had a bad season, but I don't think that. Look, his performance in Detroit is still like high in my memory bank.
Yeah,
it was an amazing performance, almost out Pelot Toronto type that he did in Detroit. So I'm pretty high on Louis Foster. I think next year we'll see, but I'm just saying Louis Foster. I don't know.
It'll be interesting. There's going to be a lot of good storylines, right? How good is Ernie France going to do next year? Jamie Shadwick, she's coming back. That's going to be interesting as well. So Indie NXT's got a lot of intrigue next year. A lot of the heavy hitters are gone. New guys are going to service to the front of this field. You already got a championship favorite or two going in. It's going to be interesting. I'm excited for the Indie NXT.
I actually got a question, though. Who do you think fills Pietro's spot at Haas F1 reserve driver?
That's a good question.
Because that's his role right now.
Well,
Has it been announced? Because I don't know.
We're going to see a lot of F2 guys working their way forward. I mean, we saw a bunch of them this weekend run in FP1 at Mexico City, so might be able to see some of those guys moving on.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Maybe like an Ollie Behrman or a Frederick Vesti, maybe.
Behrman, that's right.
Yeah. That would be interesting. I mean, like I said, we're going to be here all off season. We'll get you guys' racing fix covered. We're going to preview everything under the sun over the next couple months as this racing season winds down. You guys are going to have everything you need to know going into the 2024 motorsports racing world. We will set it all up for you. But we could speculate all day, but we ain't getting nowhere, just spinning our wheels. All right, and then also Mercedes chief director Mike Elliott departs from F1 team. I mean, this doesn't surprise me. Mercedes is just a joke at this point.
I think this really stems from the Zero Pod, though, from last year. I don't know why I think of that, but I'm pretty confident it stems from the Zero Pod. That's just my That's what I think, because that was a horrible ordeal right there. That was horrible. Horrible for Maurice. They're still recovering from it because they didn't develop a correct side pod. They developed the wrong side pod. And I believe that's why they're so bad right now. They probably could be winning races if they just junked the zero pod at the beginning of the season last year. But yeah. This doesn't surprise me, him leaving though.
Yeah, that really doesn't surprise me. Anything that it gets announced out of McLaren or Mercedes anymore just doesn't surprise me. It really doesn't.
Yeah.
Not one bit. And I think RCR, we'll talk about that more in a minute, but everything I hear from RCR, I feel like that's kind of the same thing. And then we also had another bit of news here, Tom. Not sure you got that?
Oh yeah, Haley Deegan's getting married.
All right, moving on. We're going to go straight into previewing the races this weekend with the Xfinity Series, Cup Series, and Formula One Grand Prix at Mexico City. First off, on Saturday, this is where the drama begins. I predicted it in last week's podcast. I made a whole podcast clip and everything on this. I knew there was going to be drama. We definitely saw it. So we'll kind of get into the race here as it develops. So Sammy Smith qualified in pole. Like I mentioned, he's one of those drivers in a must-win situation. He had to win this race. Did exactly what he needed to do, qualified on pole. The only caution there in stage one, or the only major incident, was when Joe Graff Jr. early in that race lost a tire. Just weird incident there. But then Allgaier ends up getting to the lead, ends up taking stage one. I predicted him to win the race in my prediction, and he was doing just that at the beginning of this race. And then the next caution was in lap 73 in the beginning of stage 2 when Lane Riggs spun. And I mentioned that he was making one of his first starts here in the Xfinity Series there for colleague. Just didn't have a very good race. Stage 2 winner was Sammy Smith. Points didn't really matter for him, but he was just trying to stay up front and run up front, and that's what he did. And then this is when the drama kicks in, right? From 65 laps to go onward, we see our first major caution between Mosak and Clements wrecking. Going into, I believe it was turn 3. They made a little bit of a collision there. It could just be me, but I don't think Connor Mosak's it. I don't know. He's older than a lot of these younger drivers, but this guy is just an absolute clown, man. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't really liked him ever since I've seen him make any starts in anything. I don't know. But I'm going to put a lot of the blame on him there. And then the next caution was with 43 to go. Just again, it was kind of the similar situation here. I mean, we just had a little bit of a checkup coming off of, I believe, turn 4. And Ellis and Yaley end up crashing. Back markers racing in the back. And I believe at this time it was Allgaier, or was both of the RCR guys, Hill and Creed, were cycling to the front here. Creed in a must-win. Hill, people are saying, oh, he could make it in on points. I don't personally think so. I think that he was also in a must-win, considering what was at stake. So we get one of these crazy, massive wrecks here with 7 laps to go. Half the field gets taken out?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my goodness. We red flagged the race. That changed everything, because now we're lining up for one of these overtime finishes. You got 2 teammates, Creed and Hill, lined up side by side. And then, it's history from there, right? We all know what happened. They made contact. They're racing each other aggressively. And then neither of them win. Allgaier sneaks in and wins the race, locks himself into the championship 4. Tom's championship favorite probably for the last 8 weeks on this podcast. He's been right there with the 7 car, so he wins the race. I predicted him to win the race. Tom's been predicting him to win the championship all year long, so he gets it done. Creed does not win his first career race, does not lock himself into the championship 4, and Hill also doesn't make it to the championship 4, because now we're setting up for Allgaier, Nemechek, Bayer, Custer in the championship 4. We'll talk more about that when we preview the race this weekend. But it's time to talk about the Creed and the Hill and the RCR and then the Andy Petrie and all that drama. So I guess my question for you, Tom, is what is your opinion of Sheldon Creed now?
What a badass. Right? Huge W coming out of Martinsville. Huge W. Just The way, honestly, just the way he composed himself after he was berated all post-race long, it just goes out to say that this guy comes out, he tries to win races, and he really just doesn't care about anybody else. I'm for that. I like that. That is a real racer right there. That is a guy who comes out, knows the job, tries to get the job done at all costs. I am for it.
Yeah, I mean, if I wasn't a huge Sheldon Creed fan, I mean, I feel like I haven't done very good at hiding it all year. I mean, I've been pulling for Creed. I think, what is this, like a 6th or 7th second place finish this season? Yeah. I mean, it's unreal how many times this guy finished second. But if I wasn't a Sheldon Creed fan before, man, I'm like 10 times more of a Sheldon Creed fan. I mean, This is the guy right here. And I guess the biggest controversy here, I mean, yes, RCR calls him the stupidest driver he ever hired. Well, at the end of the day, Richard Childress, I like what Kyle Petty said. Kyle Petty said, well, if Richard Childress, you think he's the stupidest driver you ever hired, and you hired him, what does that make you? I love it, dude. I love it. I'm not a huge Kyle Petty fan. I think he's kind of an idiot, but I mean, that take is perfect. Absolutely perfect. Sums it up perfectly. Austin, and then you see Austin Hill at the end of the race berating the 2 team, like as if he's not coming back next year racing for that same. I don't get that either. Like, I mean, I get that you didn't make the championship 4 and you feel like you might have been done dirty, but I think you put as much blame on Austin Hill as you do Creed in this situation. So why are you yelling at people that you're going to have to maybe work with in the future here? Because he signed a multi-year deal with RCR, and now you're going to get on the people that work in your same shop? I mean, I feel like that's a bad look. I mean, I don't get it.
Yeah, I think that's it was a huge W for Creed. And the biggest of L's for just RCR. I mean, everybody involved. I mean, Andy Petrie just made himself look like an absolute clown, coming down pit road screaming at Creed. I mean, Richard Childress himself looked like an absolute clown, going and saying what he said. And, even Austin Hill. All right, after the race, after he gets out of the care center, he goes and he spills the beans of Creed going to JGR. That was not announced. I mean, and then he said, I can't wait for him to leave RCR and move on with JGR. That was something like that statement. Nonetheless, I mean, just you make yourself look like such a freaking tool, man. Just a tool. That whole organization, absolute L. I would not be surprised if, like, I don't remember his name, Creed's crew chief, if he just bounces after Phoenix. You know what I mean? Like, that right there is not a team you want to work for. It is not a good outlook on anybody, trying to get into RCR. It's not a good outlook for them. Like, what do you think the team dynamics is in this Xfinity series? Maybe they're covering up a lot in the Cup series, with their orders like that. You know what I mean? And so I just think, we just need to go down to RCR and hand out a bunch of L's to everybody there. I am confident that Sheldon Creed's going to go to JGR and he's going to light the world on fire. I do. I am confident. He's got all the fire under his butt to go out there and perform. He's got people rooting against him. A pretty solid team rooting against him going into Phoenix now. What can we expect with the car they're going to prepare for him? What's the realistic expectations here? Is Creed just going to get a car from, like, MBM or like Mike Harmon or some crap like that? Probably. I mean, let's be honest here. Probably. I bet you know what would be the biggest W of it all? Sheldon Creed makes one lap and then parks it on the racetrack and gets out.
I love it.
His inner Josh Williams.
I think everything you just said is perfect. I agree. Sheldon Creed I think he's the championship favorite going into next year. And we're not even to next year yet. So I would agree with that. My 3 biggest takeaways here is this. Sheldon Creed, the composure and the absolute maturity he showed after the end of that race. He had everybody against him, and he stood there and owned up to it and said he's fighting for his team, his 2 team, the people that he is leaving next year. Why would he care how good he does for them? He was fighting to the last damn lap for those guys. That is a dub move for him. The second takeaway here is Jesse Love. I think he is the number 1 talent right now coming up through the ranks in NASCAR. He is like your next Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson, William Byron right now. Now he's got to go deal with this. And he is a younger driver who's not as much experience or is not as mature as Sheldon Creed. So now what kind of situation is he backing himself into? That's what I'm concerned about. We could ruin his career before it even gets off the ground. And that is a big shame right there. And then my third takeaway here is, like you mentioned with Austin Hill spoiling the JGR announcement for Creed, do we see a lawsuit come from this? Because if they haven't announced it yet, they've got to be planning something sponsorship-wise, team-wise, what number he's going into. There's got to be something that they've been waiting to announce to like have this big announcement, and then they get it taken away from them by somebody that isn't in the loop with that. Do we see it? Do we see a potential lawsuit here?
I hope Gibbs is as petty as you can be with their announcement of Creed being their driver. You know, with the help of Austin Hill from RCR, we make our big announcement today. Surprise! Sheldon Creed's in our car this year. So,
I love it.
They gotta play with it. They gotta go with it. You know what I mean?
I would throw it right back at their face. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I love it.
Put in the headline or something. Championship favorite Creed returning to 2024.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I love it. Yeah. So just a crazy race in general. I mean, really, the beginning of the race wasn't too crazy. It was really towards the end of the race in that final stage. And then, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are shifting their opinion towards Creed because I mean, even a lot of people, especially including myself, started giving up on Creed a few weeks ago. It just seemed like week after week, he just couldn't figure out how to do it. But I think he's the man, dude. I think he's the man. I think he is your championship favorite toward 2024. And I don't think there's really anything you could say to change my opinion on that. I don't. So. Great race. We'll preview the championship predictions here in a little bit, but it's time to move on to the Formula One Mexico City Grand Prix there on Sunday. We saw Charles Leclerc on pole again. These Ferraris are always on pole, it seems like, anymore. They got the pace and the qualifying, but lap 1 was just crazy. Turn 1, we saw them go 3 wide. Verstappen shoots the middle between the Ferraris, gets the lead there. And then Perez, I mean, I don't get this guy, man. I don't get it. But he ends up coming down on, I believe it was Leclerc at the time, ends up going airborne, destroys his vehicle, ends his race. I mean, what confused me here is he didn't get that good of a restart, but he took advantage of the slipstream with the 3 guys going 3 wide, and he decides to just make this daring move on the outside. That was never going to work. Never going to work. It doesn't matter if they were going 2 miles an hour and he was going 100 into that corner. He still wasn't going to pass them. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. But that's going to nominate Sergio Perez as a bonehead move of the week. I don't think that was a move you need to make.
Home race too.
Yeah, I didn't even put that together. Yeah, home race. Just driving over his head, man.
Absolutely craps the bed going into turn 1. Just, what are we doing here?
And the sad part is this was like the best weekend. It looked like he was going to have an amazing weekend. Like since Monaco, dude. Since freaking Monaco, race like 5. This is the best weekend he had going for him. And then he just turns himself Sergio again, like lap 1. So, yeah, that's going to nominate him as a bonehead move of the week. And then really from there, that was pretty much controlled by Verstappen. I mean, from this point onward, we had a safety car on lap 33 with Magnussen. It looked like his left rear tire came off the car. That's what I got out of it.
He broke a toe link.
That's what it was. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was pretty bad. That was a horrible spot to break a freaking toe link.
Dude, he hit that
man. Oh man, I'd like to know how many G's he pulled in that wreck because that was gnarly. That was gnarly.
That was insane. That was an insane crash, but thankfully he walked away from that one. I don't know. don't know if they released anything on whether he was cleared through medical or anything like that, concussion protocol or anything, but if he got away without a concussion, that is a miracle because he had a ton. He had a ton. So, and then from there, we had a collision there on lap 49, kind of similar to the Perez-Leclerc incident on turn 1. We had Piastri on the inside, and Tsunoda was trying to make the move on the outside, and then Piastri just had 2 lanes to his right that he could have used, and he didn't decide to use them. He just continued to go to the left and just took out Tsunoda for what, like 8th, I believe, at the time of the race. Just a terrible look for Oscar Piastri, doing McLaren-esque things. If I was Tsunoda in this situation, I would have been furious. Absolute fuming, because this is the best we've seen AlphaTauri all season long in this race. I mean, and he was on pace to get a back-to-back points finish. He probably passes Piastri here. He moves on and contends with Ricciardo and then Norris for maybe like a P6 finish at the end of this race, and gets no result because Piastri just absolutely gave him no space on the track. So that's going to nominate Oscar Piastri as Bonehead Move of the Week. Wrecking Tsunoda here, and Piastri didn't even really have that good of a car. I mean, he doesn't get a points finish because that's kind of where McLaren's been all year, anywhere from 4th to 10th. But I don't know. I don't get the whole situation. You lose one place, you probably recycle back in front of him anyway through the pit cycle. I don't get it. I just don't get it. But that wasn't it. That wasn't it for shenanigans in this race. All 3 of our Bonehead Moves of the Week come from this race and alone because with like I believe 4 laps ago in the Grand Prix, we saw Stroll and Bottas battling. I picked Bottas as my dark horse. I really expected him to do well this weekend. Didn't have the pace. And then ends up, me and Tom have been on about Stroll all season long. Don't think he's that good of a driver. But in this situation here, man, Bottas just straight up sent him. Just sent him. And I think the best part about it, though, is it happened in that stadium section where all the fans are like surrounding the track there. Dude, that crowd reaction was insane, dude. It was the best, man. Everybody there just on their feet screaming and yelling. It was amazing. But yeah, I don't know what Bottas is doing. It wasn't for a points position. It wasn't for really anything relative to race force. So that'll nominate Bottas as Bonehead Move of the Week. Verstappen ends up going on to win. 16th race of the season, just absolutely annihilating the field. There's nothing else you could say about it. I mean, that's just what we see. And then Hamilton, P2, which I'll talk about here in a second with the points, but this was big for him because he is still in contention to get second in points and potentially get Mercedes up to P2 in the constructors, especially with weekends like this weekend that Perez had. That's not going to help for his cause to finish P2 in the championship. And then Leclerc, he did end up finishing P3, which I think Tom has been really high on Leclerc all season long. And I think this was a big step in the right direction here for Leclerc. He finally was able to put this thing on the podium.
I think that the reason, I'd say probably about 75% of the time we don't see Leclerc on a podium is because of Ferrari pit strategies. I honestly believe Ferrari goes out of their way to screw over Leclerc every time. Every time he's got a fast car, it's always Ferrari doing some crap to him. I mean, this is where I'm coming from though. Ferrari driver since before F3, moving all the way up. I'm drawing a blank right now. Jules Bianchi. Thank you. Jules Bianchi and him, they were real tight in the Ferrari program. Jules unfortunately passed away in a racing incident in Japan. But then after that, he was kind of the next driver to slated in line to go to Ferrari. He had a couple amazing years at Alfa Romeo, and then comes to Ferrari, does good 1 year with Vettel as a teammate, and then it just went to crap. I mean, I don't understand it. I honestly believe that if there was another team that could pick up Leclerc and give him a competitive car and have a race strategist with an actual brain inside of their head, that we'd be seeing Leclerc doing better than Hamilton right now, probably P2 in points. Honestly. Ferrari is the biggest problem with Leclerc right now. And it is so sad. I cannot even begin to fathom how he feels sitting in that Ferrari seat week in and week out, just expecting another screw up from the Ferrari team. And then he goes out there and races, even with that on his mind, and still comes out with a podium. To me, W.
Yeah, I agree. I think this was a big moment for Leclerc. I think this is something that he needed. I mean, to him to go all season without a podium would have been devastating. I think this is good for him here. And then Hamilton obviously gets the fastest lap right at the end. That's going to give him an extra point. And like I mentioned, that points battle here for second, Perez is still second in points at 240. Hamilton is 20 behind him there with 3 races to go. So there's still an opportunity for Hamilton to get past Sergio. And then in the constructors, it's 22 points between Mercedes and Ferrari. So, I don't know. Ferrari has been turning it up recently, but they're going to need a little bit more of these podiums in his last few races if they're going to take over Mercedes there for P2. All right, it's time to talk about the Cup race. The final race of the round of 8. We're setting up the championship field. Truex qualified on pole. He was in a pretty much a must-win situation, I would say. I mean, him and Hamlin coming in, we're 17 points out. That's just a tough hill to climb. Caution lap 104, Bowman and Burton end up crashing, kind of a racing deal there, trying to stay on the lead lap as Hamlin was coming to lap them towards the end of stage 1. Hamlin goes on to win stage 1. Stage 2 went pretty much caution free. We had the battle between Hamlin and Blaney. A little bit of drama there, right? Hamlin was behind Blaney. He ends up making contact. I still don't understand how Blaney saved that car. he was fishtailing down the back. I thought he was going around.
I mean, that was an amazing move. Like, that'll go into the highlights for the season, right there. That save he did for sure.
Yeah, that was crazy. Absolutely crazy. I mean, championship hopes on the line and saves it. And then caution on lap 73. We had Ty Gibbs get turned around there by Joey Logano.
What's going on there?
Well, I have no idea. I couldn't understand it when it happened. I was like, maybe there's some Penske orders here, because at the time you had Hamlin and Blaney 1 and 2. Then you had Gibbs, who's a JGR driver, and he had Logano as a Penske driver. I was like, maybe Logano's just trying to wreck Gibbs so that it evens the numbers out between Blaney and Hamlin. It's just a mono battle here. I don't know. And it made no sense to me whatsoever. Absolutely 0 sense. But end up collecting Suarez and Keselowski. Poor Keselowski, man. That car was beat to hell. It's all flapping. He ends up pulling it in the garage and ends up walking home. I love that. That was great. The look on his face was just like, I'm done with this year, man. I've been that close to winning like 100 times, and I just can't do it. I'm done. So, yeah, that was really the only major incident in this race. And then I thought the most comical situation here, though, was when the pace car broke. That was just great, man. Good old Camaro, man.
What is it? Like the 2014 Daytona 500 when the pace car caught on fire. Look, not a good look for Chevrolet. All right,
No.
Like, you guys got to get your crap together, because you guys have made 2 highlight reels now for pace car shenanigans for somebody's YouTube video. You know?
Yeah, if you're trying to buy a Camaro, don't. I mean, that's probably why they're discontinuing them. Reliability is garbage. The funny thing is they had a backup pace car. I thought that was pretty cool, man. The pace car driver runs out of the first pace car, runs around, gets in the second pace car. But after the pace car broke, they didn't need it anymore because the race went green from there on out. Blaney ended up getting by Almirola, Blaney, Hamlin. A bunch of these guys pitted there lap, I want to say 235 or 335 or something to that effect. Just enough to be able to make it to the very end of the race. Almirola, Eric Alma, blow my tire now, ends up taking 2 tires, which I thought was a pretty good call at the time, because tires we know don't mean anything at Martinsville. And it proved it, right? He held the lead once he got by Elliott, he held the lead for a good 100 laps there. It took Blaney
in an SHR car.
In an SHR car, yeah. That should mean something that tires don't mean anything. It took Blaney all the way to it was probably 25 to go, something like that, when Blaney finally got by Almirola and ended up taking the lead. Ends up going on to win the race, locking himself in securely to the championship 4. And then Byron. Wow. That's the one thing this weekend I missed, is I thought Byron would run top 10 all day and pretty much easily make it in on points. He cut it real close there at the end. I think he was only 7 up on Hamlin at the end there, after he had a 47-point advantage coming into the weekend over Hamlin and only beat him by 7 points. Wow, I did not expect that. But Byron did make it into the championship 4, and we already know Larson and Bell are locked in as well. Is there anything else we want to talk about this race before we preview the championship 4 here? When we do the race predictions?
No.
Yeah, I felt like I was missing something. I don't think I was. I felt like that was a pretty good little summary there. Yeah. So yeah, I guess Truex, Hamlin, Busher, and Reddick are all eliminated. That's crazy. Championship, regular season champion didn't make the final 4. That's crazy. I had Truex winning the championship this year from way back, so I don't know. That just surprised me to be the most, but can't run garbage throughout the playoffs and expect to make it. So, all right, we're gonna go through driver of the week at Bonehead, move of the week segments. Driver of the week in Xfinity, Parker Retzloff, P7, the Xfinity race. I think that's a pretty good performance for old Jordy Anderson Racing there.
Jordy.
Daniel Ricciardo, P7. What a race for him, man. This was the best performance we've seen out of AlphaTauri all season long. I think that was a well-deserving P7. And I believe that we could have saw Tsunoda up there in P6, P7 as well at the end of this race. So that's just unfortunate that whole situation happened there for him. And then me and Tom talked about it off stream, and I've contemplated putting Blaney in. But the only reason I didn't put Blaney in this is because I picked him to win the race. So I feel like if I predicted somebody to win the race, I don't feel like he's deserving to be a driver of the week, even though he put on a masterclass drive. So I'm going to put Almirola. This is probably it's not probably. This is the last time we're ever going to see Almirola have any realistic shot of winning anything relative in NASCAR ever again. I love the strategy call. Thought it was bold. Just fell off a cliff there at about 25-30 to go and lost the race. But congratulations to him. P2 finish in the Cup Series. Driver of the week nominate for me. And then for Bonehead move of the week, like I mentioned, all Formula One. Sergio Perez, his turn 1 collision with Charles Leclerc. Oscar Piastri dumping Yuki Tsunoda. And then Valtteri Bottas dumping Lance Stroll there in the stadium section. Yeah, that summarizes the race this weekend. It's time to preview the race this weekend. This is the last big hoorah weekend of the motorsport season this year. This is kind of it. This is the send-off. We have 2 more Formula 1 races after this weekend. We have 1 more Formula 2 race. And that's it. I mean, that's it. That summarizes the season right there. I mean, there'll be some local short track, dirt track stuff throughout the country throughout the winter time. There always is, but I mean, for major motorsports, this is it. This is the last weekend. So we're gonna preview first off the Truck Series race. I think that's where we should start. Friday night, the Truck Series race, the Lucas Oil 150 championship. We're not gonna pick a dark horse because it's all about the championship, right? So I'm sticking with my pick. I believe that he gets it done. He's proved a lot this year in the Cup Series when he's made starts and in the Truck Series. I believe this is his year. I believe he's going to walk out a champion in the Truck Series. I think it's Carson Hocevar. I don't think he's going to be beat. I'm going to stick with my pick from a few weeks ago, and I think he's the man to beat for the championship. Who do you got, Tom?
I'm gonna stick with my pick too. I've been pretty much talking about Enfinger all year long as well. Honestly, kind of surprised he made it to the Final Four, but nonetheless, he's there. I think Enfinger has a shot. Last hurrah with GMS.
Maybe pull a Wayne Taylor from IMSA a few weeks ago. Walk off win.
Yep. So I think I just think that there's a lot on the line there, trying to be that last guy, and getting a championship for himself. Still, no plans for next year. This would be a great thing for him, for sure.
I'm excited. I think it's gonna be a good race. Short race, can't make a lot of mistakes, and if it's anything like last year, it's gonna be a great race.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention the notable entries this weekend, so I'm going to mention the ones in the trucks before we get into the rest of it. So in the truck series, you got Jesse Love making a start for Tricon, kind of his last hurrah with Toyota. Caden Honeycutt in Young's Motorsports 02. Marco Andretti making a start for Spire in the 7. Christian Rose, an ARCA driver. He'll be in the number 22 AM racing truck. Bailey Curry back with Nice in the 41. Jack Wood, KBM number 51. Also, this is to note, this is KBM's last little hoorah too. So
I was just gonna say
it's pretty interesting here. Got lots of storylines in this truck race. And then Jake Drew, also an ARCA driver, will be in the number 61 Hattori ride. And then Connor Jones in the number 66 ThorSport. Sean Hingarani in the 75 Henderson ride. And then Derek Krause in the number 77 Spire ride. In the Xfinity notable entries, we got Derek Krause in the number 11 Colleague, Raja Karuth making a start for Hendrick in the number 17, Myatt Snyder in the 19 JGR, and Daniel Dye in the number 44 Alpha Prime ride. In the Cup Series, Hocevar's back with the Legacy Motor Club, and Newman is with Rick Roy Racing. And then the World Endurance Championship, we got 12 hypercars, 11 LMP2s, and 13 GTEs in their season finale, 8 Hours of Bahrain. That's what we're going to talk about next. The World Endurance Championship, the 8 Hours of Bahrain, the final race of the 2023 campaign and the World Endurance Championship. Right now, there's only 2 teams mathematically eligible for the championship. That would be the number 8 Toyota with Hartley, goodness gracious, man. I think I'm having a stroke right there. Hirakawa and Buemi. And they are currently 15 points ahead of their teammate Toyota, the number 17, of Lopez, Kobayashi, and Conway. So basically, the number 8 Toyota has to, if the 7 Toyota wins the pole and the race, the 8 Toyota has to finish 4th or better to win the championship. So we are going to predict. I'm going with the long shot here. I am. I'm going to take the number 7 Toyota to win the race, the pole. I believe they're going to win the championship as well. I have a feeling the 8 Toyota is going to have some troubles in this race. I think the Ferraris are going to be on the podium. I think we might see a surprise maybe contend for the podium. Maybe the Cadillacs or the Porsche Penske's will be competitive in this race. And I think the 7 Toyota gets the championship. I think they go out with a chip on their shoulder and they end up getting it done. And my dark horse for this weekend, I'm going to take Team Joda because I just like the look of their car. And I feel like they've been a dark horse all season. Why not get a podium in their final race here of the season? Who do you got, Tom?
All right. For my favorite, I'm just going to choose number 8. And it's not really because points position, because I would rather bet on the lower guy anyways, because Underdog Nation. But I'm going to choose the number 8 specifically because of Brendan Hartley. Toro Rosso, I will never forget. You guys did him dirty. And then, let's see, for my dark horse, I'm going to go with the 93 Peugeot. Because Jean-Eric Verne and Paul DeRisto. That's why. And I like Peugeot. I think they're pretty cool.
Love Peugeot. Heck yeah. Those are some good picks. 8-hour race, gonna be a long one. Loss can happen. And if it's anything like we've seen so far in the World Endurance Championship this season, there's probably going to be some drama down the line here. So make sure you guys tune in on Saturday if you guys have an opportunity. It should be a good one to watch. But when it comes to what we'll be doing on Saturday, that's a good kind of time to segue into our watch party vote for this month. I had the 3 options. It was the final race of the Formula 1 season, which you guys was an option, as well as the Xfinity and Cup Series championship races. And then I've also put an all the above option at the bottom. All the above won. So this weekend, Saturday night and Sunday, we're going to be doing a watch party for both the Cup and Xfinity Series championship races. So come join us there. Come enjoy the races with us. We'll be giving you all the live action. I believe Dallas is going to be there for at least for Sunday, because I know we've talked to him about it in the past. So come hang out with us. Come watch some racing. Maybe crack you a cold one. Enjoy some championship racing. Should be a pretty fun time. 2 great races. But with that being said, let's preview the Xfinity Series race, right? The Xfinity Series Championship this weekend is a battle between Nemechek, Allgaier, Mayer, and Custer. I'm gonna stick with it because I know that he was pretty much been the most dominant all season long. Doesn't matter what part of the season it was, he was always kind of just standing out above everybody. And I kind of picked him earlier this season. So like I said, with Hosafar, I'm not going to just stray away here late. So I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go Nemechek. I think Nemechek wins the championship this year. Kind of a walk-off championship before he goes to the Cup Series next year. That's kind of, I mean, like I said, it's good like the Truck Series. It's going to be a short race. Can't make any mistakes. And I believe they're going to qualify up front, run up front all day, get the championship done.
Yeah. I'm going to stick with my driver too. I'm sticking with Allgaier. And, coming off that huge momentum boost at Martinsville, I think he's going to be pretty hard to beat. Look, Nemechek, a fantastic driver this year, Xfinity Series. Sam Mayer has really turned up at the end. And then, who was the fourth one again?
Custer,
that's right.
just been hanging on.
I don't think we're going to see much out of him. I could be wrong, but I don't think we're going to see much out of Custer. I'm going to stick with Allgaier. That's been my choice all second half of the season. I'm sticking with it.
All right. Well, make sure you guys tune in Saturday night. Come enjoy that race with us. It should be a fun one. There's our picks. If you think we're wrong, let us know in the comments. Tell us who you guys got. All right. And then Sunday is the F1 Sao Paulo Grand Prix in Brazil. I believe this weekend it's obvious to take Verstappen again. I think he's going to get a 17th Grand Prix victory of the season. Continue his just dominant performance. And then I'm also going to share some love here with Yuki Tsunoda. I believe that AlphaTauri right now is actually turning up a little bit here. I think that having Ricciardo there is a huge dub win asset to that team. They can get so much information from someone with that much experience. And I think Tsunoda is actually would have finished better than Ricciardo last weekend if that whole shenanigans didn't happen with Piastri. So I'm going to take him again as my dark horse. I think he's going to get those points this weekend and really kind of be the star driver there for AlphaTauri this weekend.
So for my favorite, I'm going to choose Perez. And, I'm just kidding.
You almost made me.
You'd have to be a real big bozo.
I was about to say, it is Halloween. It's spooky stuff has happened, but I don't know. That's a little spooky for me.
And then for my dark horse, I'm going to share the same love with Jay for AlphaTauri. I'm going to go with Ricciardo, though, just because,
Can't beat experience.
they're really turning up. Honestly, I believe 2024, we're going to see Ricciardo back at Red Bull. That's my hot take, but Perez isn't going to last long. Although, I do have one thing you should probably expect is Danica Patrick to go back on the Sky Sports broadcast and just say something really stupid. Just really dumb. That's about that.
That'd be great. I think James Hinchcliffe's been doing a pretty good job up there ever since she left. So I don't know.
I mean, anything's a freaking promotion over Danica.
Oh man, that's great. So yeah, there's your what to expect for this race. Should be good. I mean, like I said, this is 3 to go this week. Then they have Vegas on the 18th of November, and then Abu Dhabi for the finale. So last chances for people to get some podiums, figure out these point scenario here. All right, it's time to talk about the Cup Series Championship. Like I said, we'll be here on Sunday. Come watch the race with us on the watch party. It should be fun. It's time to, I think we should handicap or at least give one reason why each one of these drivers can win this 2024 championship. I think that would be a good way to kind of do our predictions here. I'll just start with who I think is going to win the race, and then I'll give you a reason why the other three can win the championship. I believe Larson's going to win the championship. I've been saying this for the last few weeks. He is definitely a generational talent. Probably, I mean, I don't even think it's arguable. I think without a doubt, I don't think there's anybody that should doubt that he's one of the top 4 talents we have in the world right now. Probably one of the top 5 talents we've had in the last decade. He's going to win the championship. He's going to be a 2-time champion. He's been here, done this before. He's got a fire underneath him. He's fast everywhere he goes. I believe he wins this championship pretty convincingly. Now, when it comes to Byron, I believe Byron can win this championship because he won at Phoenix earlier this season. He's already got that track figured out. I believe that last week was a fluke. I believe that the momentum is going to still keep rolling here. He's got one of the best pit crews in all of NASCAR. So if it comes down to late race pit crews, that's going to be his advantage there. And I believe if you're wanting somebody to find a way to win a race late and kind of steal one, Byron. I mean, look at every win he's got this season. He might not have been the best car, but he found a way to win late in these races. And I think that is his advantage going into this weekend. And then when it comes to Bell, the reason Bell wins this championship is because he qualifies up front every damn week. He's the modern day Rocket Man. And that's what's going to come down to. It's a short race. If you can qualify up front, maintain your track position, yes, you could definitely win this championship. Although the one caveat to that is his pit crew has been weak all season long. They've shuffled it around multiple times. That could be the one Achilles heel that 20 team has. And then for Blaney, why Blaney can win the championship, this guy's having a career year, career-defining year. This guy was literally, the last couple of years, everybody was looking at him as the next Casey Kane, Ryan Newman, somebody that just peaked right at the beginning of his career, can't find victory lane, went on this huge winless streak that he broke this season. And then he gets to the playoffs, and he's had the best playoffs of any other driver. The momentum is real, and damn near won this race last year. So that's the reason why Blaney can win the championship. But ultimately, my pick, Kyle Larson, sticking with it. Kyle Larson will be your 2023 NASCAR champion. Who do you got, Tom? And lay it all out for us, my guy.
Okay. First, I'll go with Larson. So I agree a lot with what you say, Jay. And I think we're going to be seeing Larson in A form all weekend long. He's definitely going to be a threat. I am definitely not ruling him out as champion. I think there's a couple things that probably needs to go in his way in order to cross the line P1, which is not out of the realm of what has happened in the past, right? So, I think that Larson is an absolute contender for sure. I'm gonna say as well that all four of these drivers, they are the four best drivers right now to win the championship. They really are. In fact, what I should have prefaced this with is, I chose Denny Hamlin to win the championship, way back when. And I said plenty of times on the podcast that I would eat crow when he would get eliminated. And here I am eating crow. So I'll eat crow. I don't care. I really thought it was his year to come in and win a championship. But no. So not this year. But okay, moving on from Larson, Bell. All right. Bell is so weird with his playoff format. I don't, it's just like you can expect him to run, the best car on track one week, and then next week he's just dog crap last, struggling. Almost like the next closer. You know what I mean? Like, he comes out of nowhere. You didn't know he had the speed, and then all of a sudden he's leading the race, winning the race. I think Bell is going to be, if he is going to win the race, it's going to be by a surprise like that, right? So I think we're going to be seeing him run mid-pack, maybe the whole race, and then the last 20 or last 50 laps or so, he just absolutely turns it up. I think we could expect that out of Chris Bell. Byron, I absolutely believe as well that last week was an absolute fluke. There is no way that 24 car could only run P16 all race. There's something that happened. I mean, take that chassis and just throw it in the junk. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what it is. That car's cursed. Toss it. You do not need to take that to Phoenix. You don't need to run it next year either. So just go ahead and chuck it. You know what I mean? Byron has been the class of the field all year long. You cannot change my mind. He is absolutely having a career year, for sure. Can he win the championship? Absolutely. Serious danger, serious threat for the championship. I think that William Byron's going to start top 3 and stay there all race. Absolutely. And I think Larson's going to be that way too. But then I'm we're gonna go with Blaney now. I do believe Blaney's gonna win the championship, and I'm very confident that Blaney's gonna win. Where has this guy come from? Where has this performance come from? Jay, I think you and I both had him out in the first round, and he has just absolutely turned it up. Where did this come from? This is not what we expected out of Penske at all. At all. I don't know if I don't know. I don't even know what to say. I mean, that guy literally went to Martinsville and just laid the foot down and told everybody that I'm winning this. And there's nothing you could do. Look at the turn 3 on lap, what was it, first stage when Hamlin tried to ruin his race. I mean, the determination just right there to get it done and win the race after that, after just being almost completely put in the wall, it says a lot, for sure. But my reasoning is that his team has turned up the past 2 rounds, really. 2 rounds, and they have absolutely, I think they haven't shown their hand. I think what we're going to witness in Phoenix is going to be freaking spectacular. I also believe that Blaney is probably going to be the fastest car on a medium to long run. I don't think he's going to qualify that well. Definitely still top 5, but the reason why I say that is because him and Logano were the class of the field last year coming to Phoenix. Blaney stayed behind Logano and defended him to win that race, to win the championship. And you know what? Logano owes him one. So I think we're going to be seeing some of the same thing this year, roles reverse. I think it's going to be really hard to get caught up to Ryan Blaney once he has Joey Logano behind him. And it's coming down to the end of the race. I think that Ryan Blaney has the speed, he has the team, and he's got the teammate to help him propel him to take the checker flag and win it. I think Ryan Blaney will be your 2023 champion.
Well, there you have it. If you guys agree, disagree, leave that in the comments. I'd love to see what you guys have to say, but Tom's got Blaney, I got Larson. We'll see. That's great. I mean, I know if Larson wins, my brother's going to be happy. Jared will just be screaming at the moon, man. Heck yeah. Alrighty, so now it's time to do NASCAR Fantasy and then our Radioactive of the Week, and then we'll just about be done. We'll send you guys off to enjoy the rest of your Halloween. Fantasy this week is kind of interesting. I've given up on it. I'm so far out. There's no way I can win. So, fun fact, though, is this weekend, your fantasy lineup, your playoff drivers can't earn stage points, so that's going to hurt me, but I'm still going to take all 4 championship guys. I'm taking Larson, Blaney, Byron, Bell, and then I'm going to throw Hamlin in there just to get one guy to get me some points there in the stages. Who's your lineup, Tom?
Got Harvick. Hopefully, old Rodney Childers doesn't put 4 tires on that at the late end. And then we got Chase Elliott. It's his last chance to win a race. I'm not confident at all, and I might change that before the race. I don't know. Then I got Bubba Wallace, Ryan Blaney, just because I think he's going to win the championship, and I've got Tyler Reddick as well.
There you go. And then matchups, we got Larson versus Blaney. I have to take Larson. He's going to win the championship. And if you're going to win the championship, you're going to win the race. And he's going to beat Blaney in the end of the race.
Yeah, I'm going Blaney.
I was waiting, dude. The anticipation. Oh, man. And then the next one is Byron and Bell, which, I mean, honestly, in my personal opinion, I think these guys are 3rd and 4th at the end of the day. I think I agree with Tom. I think it's Blaney v. Larson at the end of this race. I don't think these two are going to be that competitive. And I've said it from the beginning. Byron's not winning a championship. You have to lose one to win one. And this is his first try at one. So I just don't see it. So between the two of them, though, for who's going to finish 3rd or 4th in the championship, I think it's going to be Byron over Bell.
This was a hard one, though. You know what I mean?
It was.
This is a really good lineup. And I'm gonna go with Bell over Byron just because I feel like the last 50 laps, that 20 car is just gonna be in a class of its own. It's gonna be really hard to stay in front of him.
Alrighty. And then the last matchup here this is kind of a good one too, right? Because we saw Logano win this race last year. We know the Hamlin's going to be fast. So I'm going to take 11 over 22 just because I think Hamlin just got a chip on his shoulder. And plus, like, I don't think he likes Logano at all. I think if it comes to the end of this race and it's a battle for third, I still think Hamlin will run Logano into the wall. So.
Yeah, I got Hamlin over Logano too. I think that's pretty obvious though. That 22 team has struggled so bad this year. I know I said that Logano owes Blaney one in terms of defending. I don't know. I think we'll know a lot more after practices and qualifying how fast that 22 car is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I think you nailed it right there. I mean, it's a matter of how quick is that 22 this weekend. I just don't see it. And then Harvick and Reddick. I'm taking Harvick over Reddick in this one because I believe Harvick is still going to get a top 5 at the end of this race. I think Harvick he's always been good at Phoenix. This is his last hurrah, him and Childers. I think they're going to be a top 5 car all day, and I think that's where they're going to finish. And so that's why I'm taking Harvick over Reddick. And it would be a great send-off to get a top 5 in his final start.
Yeah, I am choosing the 4 over the 45 primarily on the fact I am banking on Rodney Childers to choose the right tire call at the end of the race.
I hope so, man. If Harvick doesn't get a top 5 here, man, I think I'll be pretty damn sad. Really damn sad. He deserves it. He's been literally the king of Phoenix forever. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess there's one more thing I want to talk about to preview the race before we go to Radioactive. Do you think we get a late race caution in this race? We didn't see it last year, but we saw it the year before.
No, I don't.
Yeah,
I think
I
everybody
agree.
plays nice like Martinsville.
Yeah,
if we didn't get a caution for the freaking last 100 laps at Martinsville or whatever it was, they could easily do that at Phoenix for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see a late race caution. The way it's played out in my head as I see Larson leading this race late, Blaney charging, and it's going to be one of those Larson hangs on at the very end to win the championship type races. That's the way I see it in my head playing out. Or if Blaney does win the race, it's going to be Blaney being able to find that little extra something to get by Larson at the end. That's how I see it playing out. I mean, that's in my brain. That's what I got. So, all right, let's do Radioactive of the Week. This week, we've hinted at it I think a couple times here in this podcast. It's probably pretty easy to guess this one. But the quote is, blank, Joey Logano is such a piece of blank. If you can guess which driver said that quote in the post after this podcast, you will get a shout out in next week's podcast, episode 42. So good luck to everybody there. Can't wait to see what you guys guess. All right, yeah, I think that's everything for this week. I think we covered it all. Lots of great racing. The last week of racing really for the season, the last big hoorah, multiple races, and then we're done pretty much for 2024. The content won't quit coming, though. We're going to have a weekly podcast every Tuesday. There's going to be a lot to talk about during the off-season. Keep you guys caught up with all the racing stuff. Get your fix during the off-season. You got to have somewhere to go, and this is the hub of motorsports. Where are you going to go during the off-season when you're sitting around twiddling your thumbs on a Sunday? Right here on a Tuesday. Come tune in with us. Alrighty. I just want to say thank you to everybody who's liked, commented, and subscribed on all of our content throughout this entire season. We started this channel back in March, and it has grown so much in this short amount of time, building a great community here. Love it. So thanks to everybody for all your support. Everything you do means the world to us, keeps us going, keeps us allowing us to keep making this great content for you guys on YouTube. I also want to thank Dallas Seward for being a great member of our channel. I mean, you've seen him on many live streams, podcasts. Just a big supporter of ours. We like having him around here and like having him join us on these streams. He always brings a great perspective. He's always a great time to hang out with and watch racing with. He's also a member on our channel. If you want to be a member, go join. Click the join button at the bottom of this video and look at all the different tiers that we have to offer. So many great tiers according to how much you want to support our channel. All of that goes back to help us continue to make great content. We really would appreciate it. You can go join the membership program, just like Dallas, and you'll get a shout out in all of our live streams as well. I also want to tell you the update on the Motorsports Crash compilation for October will be coming out tomorrow. So make sure to stay tuned to our channel. It should be coming out tomorrow, probably 5 Eastern time. So make sure you guys are tuned in to catch that. Lots of great wrecks this month. Those have really taken off. So can't wait for you guys to see the one for this month. And then I will let Tom talk about our partner, King Camo.
Yeah, hey, look, if you guys are into the firearms world, make sure you guys go check out our great friend and great partner over at the King of Camo. If you guys want anything from mild to wild for your firearms customizations, they got you covered. Anything Duracoat, Cerakote, modifications that you want, make sure you hit them up. Go over to their YouTube channel, give them a like, comment, and a subscribe. Tell them the Dega Boy sent you. It means a lot to us and to them as well. And actually, real quick, let's talk about the streaming we're gonna do tomorrow. Tomorrow we are at Martinsville with the Gen 6 cars. We're about to do all of the drama you just saw last weekend in iRacing with the Nexus Sim Racing guys. So make sure you guys come out tomorrow. Check that out. It's going to be a great time. We're gonna have Jay and myself in the booth. So make sure you guys come on out. Give us a nice little comment there. Say hi, like, tell all your friends to come out and hang out as well. Give us some subscribes. We really appreciate it. It means a lot to us in our channel.
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up, because that's another thing. If you guys are really itching and fiending for some racing during this off season, come tune into some iRacing here at the NSR leagues here on the Dega Boys Broadcasting Network. We'll get you covered. Lots of good racing to watch.
And hey, look, Dallas Seward gets to come out and hang out with us a lot, right? He's part of that membership program. If you guys join that membership program, there is an opportunity to come and hang out with us. You know what I mean? So come on out. Hit that join button. Choose a tier that works best for you guys. Come hang out with us. We'd love to have more people on here. We love the opinions. We love talking about it, and more importantly, we love to give you guys a platform to come on here and spread some opinions. Yeah,
We love it.
That's it. I like it. It's fun. So make sure you guys check out our membership program. Again, it helps us out a lot, and we can do a little bit for you guys as well.
There's a big racing community here, man. So come join us. Come join our channel. Yeah, like Tom said, share it with all your friends and family. If they love racing, or maybe you know somebody that you're trying to get into racing, this is the best place to learn. I'm telling you, we'll teach you everything you want to know. Whether you agree or disagree. And then also, one more thing, go check out all of our socials. Those are all up on the bottom of the screen now. Go subscribe to us on X. Go subscribe to our Patreon, our Facebook, and then our TikTok. Tom does some really good stuff there on our TikTok and our Facebook pages, so go check those out. Go show him some support for the work he puts in there. And also, one more thing, go check out our store. If you go to our channel, we have a store option. So we sell Big Daddy NASCAR hats. We got, as I got in my background here, we got some cool t-shirts. If you don't subscribe to Dega Boys, t-shirts, just go check them out. Big Daddy NASCAR stuff, coffee mugs, joggers, sweatshirts, hats, bumper stickers. Put one on your mom's soccer van. Just do it. Support the Dega Boys. We'd love it. So go check out our store. And with that being said, I think that's it. I think that'll cover it. The Halloween special. I hope everybody enjoys their Halloween. Don't eat too much candy. You gotta not get too sick if you have to go work or do what you got to do tomorrow. So thank you for taking some time out of your day to come and join us here on Halloween special here at the Dega Boys Broadcasting, episode 41. And I hope you guys enjoy the race this weekend. Come check out our iRacing broadcast, our watch parties this weekend, and we will catch y'all on the next one. Thank you guys again.
About this is that the AI is
It's time for Two Truths and a Lie.
1. Peterson Auto Group has the best selection in the Treasure Valley. 2. Our experts make financing a cinch. 3. I was the director on set when we faked the moon landing.
Cut! Can I get a juice box? Let's get some wind on this flag. Come on, people. I'm an award-winning director. I'm so
Overblown, if he only... She doesn't play piano or dance or sing. No, she doesn't compare.
But she still breathes air.
Who cares? Unimportant.
Overrated.
Overblown. If only he could see how special you can be. If he only knew the you that we know.
If I touch a burning candle, I can feel no pain. If you cut me with a knife, it's still the same. And I know our heart is beating, and I know that I am dead. Yet the pain here that I feel, try and tell me it's more real. And it seems that I still have a tear to shed.
The sole redeeming feature from that little creature is that she's alive.
Overrated.
Overblown.
Everybody knows that's just a temporary state, which is cured very quickly when we meet our fate.
Who cares?
Unimportant.
Overrated.
Overblown.
If only he could see how special you can be. If he only knew the you that we know.
If I touch a burning candle, I can feel no pain. In the ice or in the sun, it's all the same. Yet I feel my heart is aching. Though it doesn't beat, it's breaking. And the pain here that I feel, try and tell me it's not real. I know that I am dead, yet it seems that I still have some tears to shed.
Saw a werewolf with a Chinese menu in his hand, walking through the streets of Soho in the rain. He was looking for the place called Lee Ho Fooks, gonna get a big dish of beef chow mein. Ahoo, werewolves of London. Ahoo. Around your kitchen door, you better not let him in. Little old lady got mutilated late last night. Werewolves of London again. Ahoo, werewolves of London. Ahoo, ahoo, werewolves of London. The hairy-handed gent who ran amok in Kent. Lately he's been overheard in Mayfair. You better stay away from him. He'll rip your lungs out, Jim. I'd like to meet his tailor. Ahoo, werewolves of London. Ahoo. Ahoo, saw Lon Chaney walking with the Queen, doing the werewolves of London. I saw Lon Chaney Jr. walking with the Queen, doing the werewolves of London. I saw a werewolf drinking a pina colada at Trader Vic's. His hair was perfect